all, welcome to this video. This video is an introductory video to nuclear medicine imaging. First, need for nuclear medicine. Why we wanted to go for nuclear medicine when there are many scans like X-ray, CT, MRI, ultrasound? Then why we wanted to go for nuclear medicine imaging? If I take X-ray, if I pass X-ray through soft tissues such as intestines, muscles, and blood vessels, these tissues are difficult to visualize on a standard X-ray unless a contrast agent is used. This allows the tissue to be seen more clearly. That is what we are doing in nuclear medicine imaging. We are going to use a contrast agent, nothing but a radioisotopes, to visualize the tissues more clearly. Then, intro to nuclear medicine. So, as already said, that we are going to use some radioactive substance, okay, to visualize the tissues. Not only to visualize the tissues, we are also going to visualize the physiological function of an organ. So, how we are going to do that? In nuclear medicine imaging, we are going to use a small amount of radio traces or radiopharmaceuticals that are typically injected into the body through intravenous injections, or it can be inhaled or swallowed. Let's see what is for radiopharmaceuticals. Radiopharmaceuticals consist of two parts. One is radioactive isotope that is used to create the image, and the second thing is pharmaceuticals. The pharmaceuticals act as a carrier and also determines the physiological behavior of the component. So, as I said, radioisotopes and pharmaceuticals will together make radiopharmaceuticals. Then let's see what is radioisotopes. In a radionuclide or a radioactive nuclide or radioisotopes or radioactive isotopes, it is an atom that has an excess nuclear energy, making it unstable. So what does it mean by excess nuclear energy? Nuclear, that means it has an excess nucleus. So if I take nucleus in an atom, a nucleus consists of protons and neutrons. Here in the radionuclide part, when we take a radionuclide atom, there will be excess amount of neutrons present in the nucleus, not the protons. So that's why we have a excess nuclear energy. So that's why it is making the atom unstable. So an unstable nuclide will become a stable nuclide by releasing radiation. Then this process is called as radioactive decay. So what type of radiation is going to be released? There are three types of radiation: alpha, beta and gamma rays. It depends on the radionuclide which is undergoing radioactive decay. If the radionuclide is taken as fluoride 18, okay, fluoride 18, then the radioactive and then the radionuclide will undergo radioactive decay and it will be converted into a stable nuclide and it will give off beta rays. So if I take technetium, it will undergo radioactive decay and become a stable nuclide, but it will release gamma rays. So it depends on the radionuclide which is undergoing radioactive decay. So radionuclide is nothing but an atom that has excess nuclear energy. Here that excess nuclear is amount of neutrons present in the nucleus. So that's why the radionuclide is unstable. So to make the radionuclide stable, it is undergoing a process called radioactive decay. After that, undergoing radioactive decay, it releases some radiation that was alpha. It can be alpha, beta or gamma rays depending on the radionuclide which is undergoing radioactive decay. And then radioisotopes. From the name isotopes, isotopes means we will use isotopes when there is something same in that, right? So in radioisotopes, there is something same. What is that? They have a same atomic number. Okay, represent atomic number means it will represent the number of protons. As I said, in the nucleus there is a protons and neutrons together. But in radionuclide, the neutrons will have excess. The neutrons concentration will be in excess when compared to protons and electrons. So, an isotopes in radioisotopes, that isotopes name means it has the same atomic number, but it has a different mass number. Why? What is a mass number then? Mass number is nothing but the total number of protons and neutrons in an atom or in a nucleus. Okay. So as I said, there is a total, excess amount of neutrons present in nucleus. So there will be a difference in mass number and atomic number. If I wanted to explain you with an example, let's take H1. H1, there are many forms of hydrogen, right? 1H1, okay? 2H, there is also 2H, and then there is 3H also. So in all those things, the atomic number is same, but the mass number will differ. Okay, so that's a simple example for a radioisotopes. I think you're clear about radioisotopes, and Let's see one example for radiopharmaceuticals. As I said, radiopharmaceuticals is made up of two parts. One is radioisotopes and the second one is pharmaceuticals. The pharmaceutical will act as a carrier molecule, and that is the part where which decides about the function of the compound. Okay, here we are going to take fluorine 18 as a radioisotopes, and then pharmaceutical as deoxyglucose. And a pharmaceutical, I have to include this point also. A pharmaceutical is a drug that is naturally available, but the radioisotopes, due to its unstableness, it is not naturally available. We have to manually, artificially, it has to be produced. Then this deoxyglucose will be found in many food items. These together will form a compound called fluodeoxy or fluorodeoxyglucose. So fluorine 18 as a radioisotopes which will undergo radioactive decay. Then it is an unstable nucleus, as I said before. Radioisotopes, as usual, it is an unstable. To become a stable nuclide, it will undergo radioactive decay. So fluorine 18 will undergo radioactive decay and it will be formed as oxygen 18. Okay, and then it will release a radiation. Okay, because an unstable nucleus has to lose its energy to become stable, so thereby it releases radiation to lose energy. That radiation will be, in this case, fluorine case, that radiation will be positron. So fluorine have a deoxyglucose is formed means fluorine 18 is incorporated into deoxyglucose radioisotopes, and thereby it forms fluorodeoxyglucose or fluodeoxyglucose. And this is the basic formula for radionuclide. Then we come to what are the radionuclides that are used in nuclear medicines. Have listed only 5, but there are many that is used in a radionuclide. I mean that are used as radionuclide in nuclear medicine, but I only included 5 of them. Just go through it by passing this video. And I wanted to say about the half-life. Half-life is nothing but time that is going to take for a radioactive decay, for an unstable nucleus to become stable. That time is called as a half-life. And then I have just included summary of it. First, we have seen what are the need for nuclear medicine and the intro to nuclear medicine. Why we wanted to go for that we have seen in the first part, an intro to nuclear medicine, then radiopharmaceuticals, and then radioisotopes. And radioisotope is what? Radioisotope is, and then radiopharmaceuticals. One example we have seen. And then finally, we have seen what are the radionuclides that is used in nuclear medicine. I've only listed 5, but there are lots and lots of radionuclides that is used in nuclear medicine imaging that you will see when you are seeing about the equipment. That's it about this video. Thank you.